All right, we're going to look at how to determine if there's audio coming into the computer from the satellite. If you ever are wondering, hey, is the satellite working? Are we sending a signal to the switch, or to the tower? You can open this ASI control, and this looks at your sound card at the computer. And this app, it's a matrix switcher, you might say, and we have 4 inputs and 4 outputs. And those inputs are connected to what's called players and recorders. We don't use the recorder, you can ignore that. The way we've got this set up is that line 2 is coming from our audio board, and it does not interact with the broadcast. So right now what I'm saying, I'm recording, it's coming in through line 2. And if I mute that, then there's going to be no audio. So I'm going to talk for just a moment while I mute it so you can see no audio is coming through and you can't hear me. And now I've turned on the mic again so you can hear me. So that's line 2. Line 1 is coming in from the first output on the switch, and that output 1 is coming in through line 1 and going out through line out 1. And this line out 1 is, it goes directly to our silence detector. And so if line out 1 is silent, like if there's nothing coming from the satellite and nothing going out from the computer, then the silence detector will switch to a backup of the satellite, but that's uncontrolled by the computer. So we don't want that. We want the computer to be in control. So if there's nothing coming in line 1, then we know that the satellite is dead, and it could be for more than one reason. So let's explore a couple of those reasons that we can check before we do anything else. The first we'll find from opening Firefox, and then here in the top we're going to type 192.168, and we're going to look at 2.60. And you'll see that this is already set up here. It's a Comrex device, and anytime we put a .2. Whatever, it's going to be up at the radio tower. So that's a IP address that's not here in the studio. So this is the one that is up at the tower. So we're going to double check this, and it's the password is already in there. It's saved, but if you need to, you can go up here, and the password for our Bitwarden is the day of the Lord, and each word has a capital letter. And then you can search here, and we're going to look for Comrex. And notice that there's a studio and a tower. We're looking right now at the tower, and you can see here's the URL, 192.168.2.60. That's what we put in the URL up here. And the password is here. It's a random password. It's easier to just copy this and paste it if necessary, but it's already saved into the browser, so you shouldn't have to go into Bitwarden. So we're going to click Login, and notice in the top right you can see here it's receiving a signal. So we know that it's getting audio here. So even if there was no audio coming out of the ASI control, this line in and line out, if we're not getting any of these little dancing green and yellow lines, but we're getting the receiving signal here, that means that we're probably operating from our backup satellite signal. So the satellite isn't bad. If this is dead, and I'll give you an example of that by muting line 1. Okay, so I've muted line 1, and now you can see that the tower isn't getting a signal. So now it just switched to the backup satellite, and now you're getting a signal up there again. But still, we're dead down here. So how is it, like, what's wrong? If we're getting a signal, then we've got a satellite, so it's not the satellite being a problem. So there's something else going on. So we're going to go back up here, and maybe we'll open a new tab, and we'll do the same thing with the URL 192.168, but this time we're going to look at something that's local. And you can look through a bunch of these things that we've explored before, but the one we're going to pay attention to is 1.55. And you can see this is the audio sentinel, and that's our switch. So this one says that it's silent from the computer, but we're getting a signal from the satellite. So input 1 is through the computer, input 2 is the backup signal that comes directly from the satellite. And notice we have this set to auto, so it automatically switches to the backup if the computer is silent. So this is helpful. We've diagnosed that the issue isn't that we don't have a signal from the satellite. The satellite's working. The issue is that it's silent. Okay, so let's look at another one, 192.168.1. And 113 would give us the other side of our Comrex device, but we don't need that. What we need, let's see, I believe it's this one, 5.1. Nope, that was wrong. I'm going to have to look in Bitwarden, and we're going to look for a switch. Okay. I think that we might not be able to get there from our computer. So the only way that I'm aware, we've narrowed it down to knowing that we're not getting a signal into the computer from our switch, but the switch has to be working because we were able to see it broadcasting still, and we were able to look at our silence detector and see that it was coming through the backup satellite signal. So we know the satellite is on, but for some reason we're not getting a signal to the computer. So that would suggest that either we have a mute on the line in for the satellite on the computer side, so the output 1 side, that's muted, or we've switched it to a different input line on the switch. And so one of the things that we can do to fix that is to run a command, and that command would unmute the audio sentinel, the switch. So we're going to try something, and I'm hoping that it'll work. So we're going to go to the audio server, OpEx audio server, and we're going to click this little macro button here, and we're going to repeat one of these signals. So we're going to see if this works. Star, and we have to be all capitals, serial out, ACS 82, comma, and then we're going to say star. Oops, my bad. It doesn't begin with a star, it begins with an @ sign. And so then we're going to say 1013. And we'll copy that in case we need to use it again. We'll click OK. And we see no change. So we'll try this again. In this case, we'll not use the @ sign. Oh, there we go. We've unmuted it. Okay. So it will automatically switch back. We're going to go back to this we're going to go back to the Audio Sentinel, and now you can see that we've got audio coming into both, and because this is green, we know that's the one that's sending the signal to the antenna to broadcast. So we're getting audio in from line 1, we're getting audio into the silent detector, and if we want to check the other one, we can do the 192.168.2.60 and log into up at the tower. We're getting a reception. So we know that everything's going all the way to the tower, and we should be able to listen on the radio. And we'll unmute that. There we go. We're getting audio. All right, that's checking to see or troubleshoot the audio on the line in for the computer.